Hello folks, Pam Graham here. Today's video is the neighborhood of Doctors Lake Estates. Now this is in Orange Park. Doctors Lake Drive and Peoria meet. And where they meet is this beautiful neighborhood. Now this is a really cool neighborhood. You need to just drive it yourself, but this will touch a little bit on it. There's houses that were built in the 1940 era. And then it goes up to 2020. So this is one of these neighborhoods where people, would buy some lots and then eventually build. So there's houses built. There was only one built in 1940, but then it jumps to 1954. And then it continues 50s, the 60s, the 70s, 80s, 90s. And there's actually still some vacant land that a builder is building new homes on. They haven't built them. They're waiting for the buyer. The buyer picks it out and gets to, build from scratch. So we're actually coming on to that. This area here is over the railroad tracks. So yes, there is railroad tracks that's close by. But a lot of people tell me, and I've lived close to the railroad tracks, maybe not this close, but pretty close. You eventually just don't listen to it anymore. You don't notice it as much. Maybe at night, but even then, a lot of people say the train doesn't wake them. Earplugs helps. I highly recommend earplugs. But anyway, back to the neighborhood. This neighborhood, it's not your cookie cutter homes either. Bigger lots, so the houses are spread out. There's not an HOA, but there is a civics club, Doctors Lake Estate Civics Club. And at the beginning of the neighborhood, they've beautified the front, put some benches, the flag, the American flag, trees. It's really a pretty area. But you do not have dues that you have to pay. There's not an HOA that tells you what you can and can't do. That is a huge plus for many people who are not fans of that. So you can bring your RVs, your boats, park them here, and it's no big deal. As varied as the years of the homes built, the sizes are so varied as well. There's some that start about 1,000 square feet and go up to 5,100, and so many in between. The size ranges are so crazy and off the charts in this neighborhood because people didn't have to go buy a certain model home. So there were different elevations, different sizes, styles. I mean, it's one of my favorite neighborhoods. I'm kind of, one that likes the older neighborhoods with the bigger trees, different elevations. Not to say I don't like new neighborhoods, I do, but the ones that have been established for a while, they're just so pretty. And it's nice to drive or walk in your neighborhood with a lot of shade trees because you know how Florida gets. It gets really hot, so it's nice having a little bit of shade to walk in. So this section here, the houses that are on the left are actually on Doctors Lake. So you have waterfront homes to choose from in this neighborhood, as well as the regular homes that are on a little bit of land, not huge amount of land, but bigger than most newer subdivisions. So you're not so close to your neighbor. Can't rub elbows that way. As far as schools, the schools that would be zoned for this neighborhood, the public schools, is Montclair, which is off of Moody, Lakeside Junior High, which is also off of Moody, and Orange Park High School, which is off of Kingsley and Blanding. There is St. John's Country Day School, which is a private school right off of Doctors Lake Drive as well. Now, in Florida, you can choose which public schools that your kids go to, but you do have to provide the transportation to get them there. Unlike the school that you're zoned in, if you're zoned in a certain school and you're above that mileage ratio, which is like a mile to a mile and a half, if you're past that, you can ride the bus. But if you choose to put your kiddos into another school, there is waiting lists, but then you provide the transportation. So we're going to rewind a little bit, go back to the location, because this is very convenient. As I mentioned earlier, it meets Doctors Lake Drive and Peoria. So you could take Doctors Lake Drive, if you come out of the neighborhood and go right, take Doctors Lake Drive, that'll take you all the way to Kingsley. And you can even cut over to Moody. There's a bunch of streets where you can cut over to Moody very easily. If you go left, well, it's more like straight at the curve to go to Peoria. That's going to take you to College Drive. Now, College Drive will take you to 220. It'll take you to Blanding. There's shopping right off of College and Blanding, Publix. There's Taco Bell. There's so many other varieties right there on Blanding. And if you're familiar with Blanding, you know it's very busy. There's lots of places to shop at. There's lots of food places. So there's so much variety. If you take College and you go to 220, go left, that's going to take you to Fleming Island. So Fleming Island has its own shopping area as well. Lots of things to do. If you're in the military, NAS Jax is very close. Doctors Lake Drive to Kingsley, then Kingsley to Park, which is also known as 17, turns into Roosevelt, takes you to NAS Jax. So it's super, super convenient. 295, you're going to get to that really, really quick. There are side streets that can take you to Park to get you to Fleming Island, close to the St. Johns River. If you go into Fleming Island, you have a boat ramp. There's actually a couple boat ramps, one in Eagle Harbor, one at the bridge at 17 in Black Creek. So Black Creek and St. Johns River meet. So you have those options as well. It is just a great location. Now, you can get to St. Augustine, the historical part of St. Augustine, in about an hour, depending on how fast you drive. And if you like to kayak, there are so many places to kayak. Even off of Doctors Lake Drive, there is an area. It's open to the public. It's not really a lot of parking. It's just a small road. I don't think a lot of people even know that it's there, but that's a nice little private area that you could drop your kayak in. St. Augustine has Anastasia Island, which you can rent the kayaks there if you don't have your own. And it's really a fun place to kayak where it's not heavy with traffic as much. I don't swim well, so I'll be the first to admit. So I like to go and kayak places where I feel more comfortable with less wakes and stuff like that. I'm a little scaredy cat on that, I guess, but that I felt really, really comfortable, and I didn't feel like I was going to flip or anything. So there are so many things to do that's water related. This neighborhood is close to those fun things. Downtown Jacksonville is not very far either. It's probably 30 minutes and maybe even less depending on traffic. When it's not rush hour, you can really get around, but we do have a lot of construction in various places too. Now, as you know, if you've watched my other videos, I don't really get into the prices much on the videos because this video can be around for 10 years and the prices that we have now may not be the same in 10 years. They could be lower or higher. You never know with the real estate market, but it does, it is a good investment. Real estate always has been. So what I'm going to do is include the link to my website, which will have more information about the neighborhood, more information about things to do, restaurants and schools. Also, I'll have what houses are available in this neighborhood right now. Currently, it's a few houses that are the new construction houses. But it is one that people do love to stay in the neighborhood. It's a neighborhood of 147 homes, so it's not huge. So you don't see a lot of turnover. But just look down at the description box below and I'll have that link for you so you can check it out. Look out what prices of homes are going for the new construction ones that's in the neighborhood. And I'll even include the sold report so you can get an idea of what prices are in Doctors Lake Estates. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment.